So we'll be going over IRS Notice CP51C. This is the notice that you might receive from the Internal Revenue Service if they recalculated your income tax return for a given year and determined that you have a zero balance. So to recap the past couple of videos, CP51A was a similar notice where the IRS recalculates and determines that you owe taxes. CP51B is a similar calculation where the IRS has determined that you are owed a tax refund. And in this case, the IRS has determined that you have a zero balance. You don't owe any additional taxes and you shouldn't expect a refund. So we'll go through this and talk about what this might mean. But before we do, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the upper right-hand corner and some of the information here that might be important. So in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the notice CP51C. This is for the tax year in 2007. The notice date was February 9th, 2009. There's Social Security number information. And then over on the left-hand side, the taxpayer name and address. So two things that are important. One, the notice date is always important to take note of. If there's anything that you disagree with, or if there's a requested action on a particular item, you generally only have a certain number of days to respond to the IRS with information or pertinent to that disagreement. So the other thing is, if the IRS is actually expecting you to take action on a particular item, then it will be based on the number of days from that notice date. So for example, sometimes the IRS says, hey, pay this bill within 21 days of the notice. It's talking about 21 days from the notice date. So the other item that I'd like you to pay attention to is the taxpayer address and name field. So this is particularly important because if you've recently relocated and your mail is trying to keep up to you, then that's going to penalize your ability to respond in a timely manner. So it's always in your best interest to keep your tax record up to date with your most recent address. So if you've relocated, the simplest way really is to file your next tax return. When you file your tax return, the IRS will update your tax record with your most recent tax address and make the changes to your file accordingly. However, if you're in between tax seasons, you can also call the IRS. There's an 800 number, generally speaking, on your notice. So you can call that and validate your information and then change your address over the phone. Or you can file the official change of address form. That would be IRS Form 8822 for individual taxpayers, IRS Form 8822-B for business owners. Now let's take a closer look at this notice. So in this case, the IRS recalculated the taxpayer's income tax return based on personal exemptions, which don't exist. We're currently recording this in 2024. Due to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, this would be off the table for most taxpayers between tax years 2018 and 2025. But this could be a scenario in tax year 2026 or later. But basically, the billing summary is, here's the amount of tax that you owed, here's the amount of tax payments that you made, and you have a zero balance. So you don't need to take any action. Just keep this in your records. There is a correspondence contact information slip. If you do want to submit written correspondence to the IRS, you can include it with this slip. Just make sure that it has your Social Security number, the tax year in question, and the form number on the correspondence. And then in this case, the IRS kind of walks you through the tax calculation with your payments and credits. Generally speaking, there's usually a column for like the original tax return amount, and then another column for IRS calculations, and then the difference would be tabulated in a third column. So this is pretty much just a summary of kind of breaking down how the IRS's tax calculation was different from yours, and then that way you can see exactly how they arrived at that balance. I'm going to click on this link right here just to see if the IRS website has any additional information. I don't think so, but it's always good practice to look. So basically says the IRS computed your tax on your tax return. Your balance is zero. You don't need to do anything if you agree. Contact the IRS if you disagree. You can call or write using the information on your notice. Be sure you have records, if you're calling, to explain why you're disagreeing, and to kind of further any discussions that you might have. So tips for next time you file, links to certain publications if you need further assistance. So again, this is generally not, this isn't really good news nor bad news notice. I guess if you're expecting a huge refund or a tax bill, this might be good or bad news accordingly. But generally speaking, you don't owe any tax. You're not getting a tax refund. Seems like a clean record. So I would say file this in your records and keep it handy in case you get any further correspondence from the IRS. So we'll put links in the show notes to the articles and videos that we've created on forums that might be of interest to you here. But really, this is pretty straightforward. If you do like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.